Now, you were born in Sophia Town,
Yes.
and during your formative years when you were very small, you spent a lot of time with your grandmother while your
Yes.
mother was at nursing school.
Yes.
How did she influence the person that you are, your values, your attitudes about women especially?
Well, my grandmother was a very, very strong woman. She had brought up her children, five of her children, with after her husband died. So she was also the one who was looking after the grandchildren when the mothers worked. So we were always full there at her house in Sophia Town. Well, those are the memories I have. She was a woman who had her own business, you know, like doing the laundry and employing other ladies to work for her and do the laundry. And you know, she also employed ladies to sew at her house, and she also sold liquor, you know, some home brew, you know, because at the time black people were not allowed to sell like hard liquor. This is what I hear. You know, it's like she was a very powerful woman. And I only knew that she couldn't write like in 1996 when I came back from exile. That's when I realized that this woman, 1995, I'm sorry, when I came back, that she had no formal education. But a lot of education that I got when I was little, I got it from her.
What
I
kind of
didn't
stuff
know.
did she teach you?
Well, some of the advice that she was giving,
Like
you know,
what?
to me, you know, and some of the advice that she was giving to my cousins when they had spats with their husbands and they came to her.
What were the things that she would say? What was the advice?
Well, sometimes she would say, don't you have pots and pans in your house, and stun him with it while you run out and go outside. Stun him with a pot
Beat
and
him up
pan.
with a pot and pan.
Beat him up and run out. Says, you know, that's what she used to
So
say.
don't
She
take
wasn't-
crap.
Don't take crap. You know, I was always hearing her tell them that you don't have to take nonsense from them. That's the kind of person who
That's
she
the
was.
attitude she
That's
had.
the attitude she had, yeah.
So then when you were 3 years old, your family moved to Dube.
To Soweto.
To Soweto.
Yes.
You were the second oldest out of 5.
Yes.
Only girl.
Oh, the only girl, yeah.
How did growing up as the only girl shape the person that you are? I remember you telling me a story about how when your brother first told you that you were a girl, that you were so hurt, you were so wounded.
Yeah. I used to hang, there's a difference of, my brother was born a year before I was born. So we were
more like
close.
twins, yeah.
We were more like twins.
Yeah.
So we hung out together, and I used to hang out with her friends. Yes, I had dolls, but to me, girls were not challenging enough. And then one time, an older boy just called my brother and was talking to my brother in our yard, telling my brother that, why do you hang out with your sister? You know, she's a girl, you know? And that really hurt me a lot.
Did you know you were a girl?
No, I was a person. I didn't look at it that way. I even had girlfriends, but I hung out with the boys because they did a whole lot of things.
So you didn't allow being a girl to limit you?
No, I didn't allow it to limit me, but there's a time when girls, you know, it's like, I don't know what it is, but because I had a mother who was working,
Yeah.
a nurse, and sometimes she would be working like evenings and night duty and all that, so it was my responsibility to take care of the little ones. So it was my responsibility. I remember having the responsibilities of cooking a full meal for the family at the age of 12.
So your mother, my grandmother Mkhono, was a midwife. She was a nursing sister. She delivered a lot of babies in her time.
She delivered many children, yeah.
So
at home, you know, what they used to call district nurses. They would go to people's homes, deliver nurses and all that. But they had support, you know, of transportation and all that. Sometimes they would walk long distances with the suitcases that they had, the suitcases that had equipment.
You were very academically inclined from an early age. You always did really well at school. And then, shock and surprise, you got pregnant as a teenager. What was that experience like? I mean, that story is incredible. Your family didn't know for about 8 months. Your own mother was a midwife.
Didn't know.
And then you gave birth.
I was hiding it.
You were hiding
Because
it.
my mother was always working, so it was easy for me to hide it for quite a while.
And then you gave birth on the 7th of January and went straight back to school with the other kids.
On the
You wrote your
27th.
exams in
And I
November,
passed
December,
very well.
and you passed,
Yeah.
had the baby, went back to school.
To
What
the
was
same
that like?
school. I don't know. Maybe I'm in my own world. I don't know. It wasn't it wasn't really a rosy experience because I was a good student. You know, I went back to the same school and I continued being a good student.
And kids were jealous of you because you were a good student. So it
Yeah.
was like a thing. Ya hore ya, bona, she's
She's
pregnant.
but I
We
didn't
get a bit there, but
care.
she's pregnant.
But I didn't. Not that I didn't care. It
Yeah.
had a lot. You know, I was more concerned about pleasing my parents than anybody else. You know, I was more concerned about pleasing them and showing them that I had made a mistake and all that. And they were very supportive with the baby and looked for someone to look after the baby while I went back to school.
How did other kids react to you? I mean, boys and girls, you were different. What did they say about you, both to your face and behind your back?
Well, the only thing they could say is that I had a baby. That was the only thing they could say.
But you know how people
That was-
are, like, you know, they say, oh, you think you're better, or you think you're this, you think you're that, you think you're blah, 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 blah.
Well, after a while, kids, I had a lot of friends, and most of my friends knew that the baby was mine, even though my parents didn't want me to keep on telling everybody that they were saying it's their baby, you know, and I mustn't talk. I remember my mother admonishing me because I had brought a friend to come and see my baby, you know. You know, and my mother wasn't happy with the idea. My mom and dad were not happy with the idea that I brought a friend. But you know, I
So
don't
you
know.
were told to that this baby was the baby was raised. My sister was raised as the last born in your
the
family. Yeah.
yeah. And my brothers were very protective, you know, of Mpho, and you know, she would be on their bikes. You know, we would all rush to crash, daycare. We would all find. Sometimes it would be all 4 of us there, you know, all 5 of us there. I would be coming from school to come and pick up Mpho like around 3, 4 when crash came out, and I would find my brothers there. So it was like if there were any politics, you know, I didn't, you know, hear it. Even though there were politics from the extended family and all that, but I kept my head and said, you know what, that's what made me, you know, like say that, you know what, I will just be successful and study and read.